There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. You may be seated. Honorable members, let's take this opportunity to apologize to yourselves. I've never heard of a maze walking, but apparently the maze was not where it was supposed to be. So I was standing and dancing there in front. My sincere apologies for that, honorable members. We will quickly get into the business of the legislature. But before we do that, let me once again just commend all honorable members for availing yourself and participating in the taking legislature to the people that we've just recently concluded in Dr. Beyers Naudé. I think you really owe yourselves a big round of applause, honorable members. I was saying today in the LOC, where we had to go and account, that I was so humbled by the outpouring of gratitude from the community of Dr. Beyers Naudé. Just a simple thank you. Thank you for coming to us. And I think we really need to take these things into consideration, obviously, when we are doing our work. And I think it goes also to prove to Provincial Treasury how important the visibility of the legislature is amongst the people. Not in desktop exercises, but being amongst people and being out there and interacting with our communities. Honorable members, today we are here for a very important process in the life of the legislature, but we will start with notices of motions. Before, how can I forget? Well done, Ama Boka Boka, ne? I know all of you had your t-shirts on. Yes, yes. Don't worry, they are bringing the good and the bad back, ne? That's fine. We just want them back. We want that cup back. Yes, I know there's crying tears out in certain areas of the Eastern Cape, but at least those who will be so privileged on Sunday to see them, make the time, the effort to be at the stops at the route where they will be. I think it is important that we are also there with our communities. So let's go line the streets and give them that warm welcome. It's a pity, and we're hoping that next year they will stick to their plans and also visit very, very important areas where rugby was conceived and where rugby still thrives on a day-to-day basis. That being said, can we then go to the notices of motions that I have received? I have received 4 in the following order. From Honorable Pillay, Honorable Keleku, and 2 from Honorable Fishlani. Those are the only ones that I have received, honorable members. I will now hand over to Honorable Pillay.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, House at large. It's always a privilege to greet you on behalf of my organization, African National Congress. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move with notice in terms of the standing rules of this particular legislature, 131 of the standing rules of the procedure. This House acknowledges substance abuse is a growing problem in South Africa. With just more than 13% of the population has at least used the substance once. Research on substance abuse is conclusive for that South African police data shows that there is a 123% increase in the crimes related to substance. Further, we note, according to the country's Central Drug Authority, at least 15% of the South Africans are at least once used these substances. Although the demographic data of the substance usage are limited in South Africa, nationally, 13.3% of the men and 4.1% of the women are estimated to use illicit drugs. Recent crime statistics have shown that higher numbers of substance abuse related crimes in Eastern Cape. Fourth quarter reports released in the year 2022-23 indicate that the drug-related crime and convictions in this particular province is about 2,500, which is much higher than the previous time. As per the Drug Enforcement Administration, there is a strong link between the teen substance abuse and the poor academic performance. Besides the adverse consequences on health, it is also create a significant burden on the productivity and economic and social aspect of individuals, a country which is still struggling to improve its fiscus. Honorable Speaker, further note that there is inequitable access of substance abuse treatment service among people of poor South African communities where rural areas are difficult to find an answer. Treatment services for substance abuse problems have not kept pace with the increase in demand, particularly for younger people. There is a mix-up of treating the mental health patients and drug-induced mental patients in the same facility. Therefore, the House to resolve. The House urges the government to institute intensive programs for the dissemination of information on substance abuse in line with various drug acts passed by the legislature, to increase the number of rehabilitation centers across the province, strengthen the provincial substance abuse forums and local drug action committees at municipalities to enhance the existing community initiatives with the knowledge and skills to manage their own prevention work at grassroots level. Introducing community-based mobile outpatient treatment service. I repeat that one, based mobile outpatient treatment services that are geographically accessible. We further resolve mental health and substance abuse problems are treated separately. There should be a distinction and services should not be integrated. I so move. Thank you.
Institutions and the social sector to develop and implement a comprehensive strategy aimed at reducing teenage pregnancy rates in the province. Calls upon these stakeholders to develop a strategy that will encompass age-appropriate and evidence-based sexual education programs that can be rolled out in schools. Access to youth-friendly and confidential reproductive health services, including contraceptions and family planning. Programs that empower young women with information, skills, and support networks, allowing them to make choices and align with their goals and aspirations. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, public awareness campaigns to educate communities about the consequences of teenage pregnancies and those that will encourage responsible sexual behavior amongst young people. I so move, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Much, honorable members. Honorable Fishlane, over to you. Can I switch off my mic?
Yeah. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I moved without notice in terms of Rule 130 that the House observe that South Africa is a water-scarce country, acknowledge that water is life and is fundamental to any economic and social well-being and development. Further acknowledges that and welcome the recent rains that have raised water levels in the dams and reservoirs in the province. Note the devastating effects that these rains have had in some parts of the province. Also note and appreciate the continued and timely intervention by government and private individuals or organizations in areas affected by devastating floods. Call on government to continue with its water infrastructure development programs, especially in the areas that are affected the most. Call on all private business owners and individuals to use water resources wisely so as to prevent water scarcity in the future. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Fishlani. Honorable members, I put the notice without motion for adoption. Thank you. Honorable, over to you, Honorable Fishlani again.
Honorable Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 129 and 130 that the House knows the passing of Kanya, the late son of Honorable Zinti. As a legislature, we join the family in honoring the memory of their beloved son. We grieve and support the family amidst its sorrow. Hope that our message will somehow ease the burden of their loss and amplify that Kanya was larger than life and meant so much to so many people. May the fond memories of Kanya console the family and bind it together as a family. We implore the family to find comfort from knowing that its tears are not the mark of weakness, but of love and recognition of life well lived. His pain carries a message of overwhelming grief, a deep remorse, and unspeakable love and respect. We enjoin the family to find comfort in the words of Native American proverb. I quote, "When you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice." May the fond memories of him console the family and all those who grew to love him and put them at ease as they navigate through the trying times. May his soul rest in peace. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Deputy Chief Whip. Honorable members, I put the motion without notice for adoption. Thank you so much, honorable members. We will now go over to our member statements. I have received from two members, Honorable Makashela, who is our Chief Whip, and Honorable Zibonda. Those are the only two, my apologies, that I have received. Over to you, Honorable Chief Whip.
National Congress extends its warm wishes and best regards to learners and students that will be sitting for their end of the year examinations in November 2023. Honorable Speaker, the African National Congress notes that the end of the year examinations for learners and students in the basic and the tertiary education band is around the corner. While all grades are important and require attention in preparing learners for the final year of schooling, however, grade 12 is special in that it is a gateway for the future of each learner. Those who do well stand a better chance of being accepted into universities and TVETs of this country, and moreover, stand a chance of getting a job. It is for this reason that we wish all those that will be writing their examinations everything of the best. Not so long ago, on the matric results ladder, as the province, we were number last, but we have been dramatically improving, and since 2019, we have improved our provincial pass rate to 76% in 2022, And yes, these results are not accidental, but a product of the ANC government investing in basic education, be it in school infrastructure, water projects and sanitation projects, filling up of funded teaching posts, provisioning of learner-teacher support material, increasing coverage of the National School Nutrition Program, with 1.6 million learners from quintile 1 to 3 schools benefiting in 2022, etc. We are grateful to all the staff members of the Education Department for their dedication and commitment to the attainment of positive results in the sector. Lastly, we thank the parents and ordinary members of the community for the support provided to the learners and students alike, as we believe that they are the future in which our dreams and hopes lie. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable Zibonda.
Madam Speaker, on the 10th of October, I delivered a congratulatory motion without notice for our sporting icons, Yamtanda Kolisi, for leading our nation as the Springboks captain for the 50th time, and to wish our national team well as they attempted to defend their title as reigning champions. I rise once more to congratulate the Springboks, who on the 28th of October, against our greatest rivals, New Zealand, went on to win the final to claim a record-setting 4th title as world champions, a feat never achieved in the history of the game. The motto of the Springboks, "Stronger Together," has displayed not only to South Africa, but to the world, what can be achieved by a nation when we work together for a common purpose. They have shown that what Utatu Mandela once said, and I quote, "Sport has the power to change the world," close quote. We have witnessed during the World Cup how people from different walks of life can unite behind a single vision, regardless of our circumstances and our backgrounds. We have witnessed how sport can give hope to the hopeless and unify a nation. This, Honorable Speaker, is the essence of nation building, which must be celebrated. I must give special mention to the players and members of their coaching staff who hail from the province of the legends. They have made us proud beyond measure and look forward to their East London leg of the trophy tour on Sunday, the 5th of October, to celebrate their historic achievement. Achievements of this nature do more than give us moments to celebrate. They lay foundation for our future generation to dream big and strive for greatness. Honorable Speaker, we now turn our focus and support to the national cricket team, the Proteas, as they play in New Zealand today, and wish them well and all the best in their quest to win the Cricket World Cup in India. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Zibonda. Honorable Premier, any response from yourself?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to all honorable members. I don't think there is any need for feedback or comment unless MEC Gade would want to talk to what Honorable Makashala was raising. I think it was just a progressive member statement, as well as what Honorable Zibonda was saying. We all congratulate Springboks, and maybe that they are also realizing that it's important that we've got one country. So we do really appreciate stay there full time. You are working very well that side. So Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable members, before we proceed to the next item on our order paper, I think it's also opportune that we also just say welcome back to Honorable Stevenson. Thank you so much that you are back. We know it's not easy, and we really do admire you for your tenacity. You really do love the legislature. And really, we have missed your voice in that. So, Honourable Member, and please do take care. Please don't exert yourself. Please do take care. Honourable Members, we only have one item on the order paper, and that is questions that is addressed to the Premier. But that's not the only business of the House. But there's one item on the order paper. Rule 187, subsection 7, provides for one supplementary question on each question after the reply. Members should please note that the supplementary question must relate to the original question or the reply. The first question, we will now start with the questions, and the first question has been asked by Honourable Chief Whip L. Makashela to the Premier. Over to you, Honourable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity once again. The response to the question asked by Honourable Makashela under A is that the provincial government coordinates audit improvement strategies through the implementation and monitoring of the provincial audit intervention plans. The provincial audit intervention plan, that is PAIP, encompasses developing guidelines and adopting a project management approach by monitoring and addressing the findings raised by the AG South Africa. The PAIP is developed based on AGSA and internal audit findings through the involvement of the departments and provincial treasury. The transversal units by developing action to address the root causes of the findings. It also increases the level of awareness of the risks affecting audit outcomes, including escalation of the EXCO through the discussion platforms, mainly the Chief Financial Officers Forum, as well as the provincial management. The question 2 is that the PAIP is supported by the interim financial statements, which are prepared and submitted by the provincial treasury quarterly. The interim financial statements are meant to eliminate misstatement and to assist departments in improving the state of readiness in the preparation of the annual financial statement to be submitted at the end of the financial year. It also assists in identifying areas that have the potential to adversely affect the fair presentation of the annual financial statement. Consequently, credible financial information should be available at any point throughout the financial year. We monitor the implementation of the departmental AIPs and provide support to the departments where there are challenges with capacity application of legislation as well as the accounting standards. Through Provincial Treasury, we give the regular feedback on all the above submission to the relevant departments and effectively encouraging improvements in the systems of internal control and processes within the department. These interventions, Honourable Speaker, and support measures have yielded positive results through the improvement in audit outcomes in the province. The subsection question B, the answer is the audit outcomes were not improving in the past due to factors such as non-compliance with supply chain management and other applicable prescripts leading to irregular expenditure. The material misstatement due to the financial statements that are not prepared in compliance with the modified cash standards, etc. The lack of accountability and willingness to implement consequence management, where there are cases of non-compliance with applicable legislation and repeat material findings, leading to repeat qualified audit opinions. The answer to question 2, Honourable Speaker, is that a provincial audit improvement plan is developed and is focusing on project-based intervention in supporting the Departments of Transport, Health and Education to address the root causes of the audit findings towards improved control environment and ultimately improvement of the audit outcomes. Our transversal units work in collaboration with engagements with the departments to monitor the implementation of the action plans and in assessing progress made by departments in addressing the findings, including the development and implementation of preventative controls. On all occasions, Honorable Speaker, we direct departments to institute disciplinary action against those officials who are responsible for incurring irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditures. Provincial Treasury also continues with the monthly monitoring of the implementation of the project plans by the Departments of Education, Health and Transport, and to provide the required support as outlined in the Provincial Audit Improvement Plan, where there are any identified risks of achievements of the milestones within the set time frames. This is to ensure that the qualification areas are addressed for improved audit outcomes. The answer to question 3 is that through Provincial Treasury, we conduct regular tracking to ensure that departments have systems in place to guard against financial misconduct, transgressions, and to ensure that incidents of financial misconduct are dealt with and responsible officials are held accountable. Quarterly escalation letters are sent to the accounting officers for departments with recommendation on how the cases can be fast-tracked. Assistance is also provided to the department as the part of analyzing their quarterly submissions of the register. Where required, assistance is also provided to analyze the analysis of transactions to ensure correct classification as fruitless or wasteful expenditure. When there are new updates to the fruitless and wasteful expenditure framework, departments are invited to workshops that unpack the updates. As part of the Financial Management Capability Systems Department, policies have also been reviewed to ensure alignment to the fruitless and wasteful expenditure framework. However, the financial management transgressions incurred by departments are usually the result of negligence, and the only remedy to this is consequence management and embedded culture within the department. Accordingly, Honorable Speaker, these non-compliance incidents are escalated to the executive authorities in terms of the FMAF for further action and intervention. The answer to question 4, there will always be a correction between positive audit outcomes and positive developments in the lives of the people in the Eastern Cape. Clean and good governance improves the capacity of the state to deliver on its mandate in an effective and efficient way. Audit outcomes are just one indicator of how well government is managing its finances and as well as an indicator for good governance. In the case of the Eastern Cape, it is clear that the province has made significant progress in improving its audit outcomes in recent years. That said, Honourable Speaker, there is some evidence to suggest that the improvement in audit outcomes is having a positive impact on the lives of people in the Eastern Cape. For example, the provincial government has been able to invest more resources in education and healthcare as a result of its improved financial management. This has led to improvement in the quality of education and healthcare services in the province. Additionally, the provincial government has been able to attract more investment from the private business in recent years. This has led to job creation and economic growth in the province. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable Premier. Honourable Chief Whip, do you have any supplementary questions, or are you satisfied with the responses?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Much as I am satisfied, I'm just taking a risk to want to check, especially on the part of the question 2, the plans put in place to ensure that 3 departments are turning the corner. There's a statement that says the provincial treasurer also continues with the monthly monitoring of the implementation of the project plans, so that the trends, the departments are seen to be gravitating towards the intended objectives. Just wanted to check if the trends are really showing any signs of improvement in these 3, in as far as the monthly monitoring by provincial treasurer. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable Premier.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, of course, there are a lot of positives and improvement. I know there's been a lot of struggle, particularly by Department of Health, in accepting what AG was concluding on. Up until we made some intervention, we honestly thought that Department of Health should have been given an unqualification this time around because of a lot of work that has been done. Both as well as in education, we are really addressing those sort of issues. I was speaking to the HOD of Treasurer this morning myself, whilst he was in Cape Town, to say I would also, part of the monitoring, I need the quarterly meetings strictly on audit monitoring in these 3 departments. Because these are departments, as we leave this term, we must make sure that are on unqualification. We can't live with that, we're saying. So for me, it's a question of us tightening up and making it a point that we are very tough also on consequence management. We have seen it. It has happened. When you apply consequence management, everyone is waking up and people understand very well what is supposed to be done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Premier. We will now go to the question asked by Honorable Stevenson to the Premier. I would just like to remind Premier and the members asking supplementary questions that in total for each question, the response and the supplementary question is only 10 minutes. So we need to do all of that in 10 minutes. You can imagine if we are having 10 questions, the time that is then allocated. So we are just asking for that understanding when we are responding, Honorable Premier, as well as the members asking supplementary questions. Over to you, Honorable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Because you were welcoming back Honorable Stevenson, I felt like this question really doesn't need to be handled like this, but I think let me try and answer. But I think let me state this point, Honorable Speaker, that we believe that it would be against acceptable norms and procedures to be expected to give an account in the legislature and any other public platform on details of a matter involving a contract between a service provider and a government department, especially if this includes personal details requested without the consent of the service provider. So the disadvantage of service providers that are looking for someone somewhere to report their issues instead of government internal processes, that will be the limitation. If the consent is coming from the service provider, the DA should also advise them to approach the Office of the Premier or the department concerned, wherein a response will be provided and action taken where necessary. I must say, though, that the question demonstrated our long-held view that the DA is indeed a political party of the ruling elite, given that in almost all occasions they would ask questions related to big business and very little about emerging small businesses. The answers, though, into that is provided under 2. The department did not effect any budget cuts. The department did not affect any budget cuts to the NPOs during the 2022-2023 or 2023-2024 financial years. The department is continuing to fund all the qualifying NPOs to be the extended arm of the department in delivering the services. The department on annual basis conducts the assessment audit of to all the NPOs on how the services were delivered versus the funding given to the NPO. The sub-answer there, that is B, if need arises for budget cuts in future. You and timely consultation will take place as required and necessary alternative arrangements will be made. Answer to question 3. A total number of 24 National Youth Services learners and 1 artisan learner are contracted at Dr. Beas Node, local municipality for workplace exposure and skills development. NYS learners are contracted for a period of 2 years, whilst artisans are on a 3-year contract. NYS learners are located as follows: Stedtlerville 4, Willowmore 4, Aberdeen 2, Graafrenet 5 plus 1 artisan, Janssenville 4, Klipplaat 3, Neo Bethesda 4. A total amount of 784,800 is allocated for their stipends. NYS is giving it about 2.6 per month and artisan at 3,000 per month. The duration of contract for NYS learners is June 2022. Is from June 2022 to May 2024, and the artisan learner is June 2023 to May 2026. Answer to question 4, the department did not affect any budget cuts to the NPOs during the 2022-2023 and 2023-2024 financial years. The department is continuing to fund all the qualifying NPOs to be the extended arm of the department in delivering the services. The department on an annual basis conducts an assessment audit to all the NPOs on how the services were delivered versus the funding given to the NPO. If a need arises for budget cuts in future, due and timely consultation will take place as required and necessary alternative arrangement will be made. Answer to question 5, the Eastern Cape Department of Transport has tried to explore some alternative methods, and no methods have either passed the standard trial test or found to be suitable or viable to date. We tried products in Kofimvaba and they were not found to be suitable, and the Kouga plastic road was also considered but found not to be feasible or economical. We are continuing to explore products whenever they get presented to the department. We are doing this in line with industry standards. Thank you very much, Honorable.
Yes. If you have responded to question 5, there's not, it's only 5 questions that were posed. Okay. Thank you, Honorable Premier. Perhaps, Honorable Premier, can you perhaps just move? It was an omission from me. Thank you, Deputy Chief, for reminding me. You are supposed to come to the podium. It was, yes, you can slowly come here whilst I ask Honorable Stevenson. Do you have any supplementary questions, or are you satisfied with the responses by the Honorable Premier? Yes, Honorable Stevenson.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. My supplementary question relates to the progress with the implementation of these resolutions in terms of the rules of the House. 203, Section 2 and 3, which says the MECs need to give a report with regard to the implementation of these motions. And also these reports are meant to be tabled in the relevant portfolio committees for consideration in terms of Rule 2034. Now we're not aware of, that this has happened. That's why I'm asking these questions. And is the Premier in a position to tell us whether or not the MECs in relation to these motions have indeed given the relevant reports to the House, and if he's not in a position to do so, is there a process in place whereby the executive committee checks that these matters are being attended to and the House is informed? I'm doing this because of the need for the executive to account to the legislature. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Stevenson. Honourable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Surely if he is not aware, I'm also not aware, but I think the Portfolio Committee can answer that question better. That if that has been done by the MEC concern, surely I can be able to make a follow-up and check that, but I think the committee itself can answer that particular specific question if there is a need. These are resolutions of the legislature. They can only be monitored by the legislature if they have been done or not, whether they are done in a portfolio committee or here in the House. But surely I can be able to make a follow-up and give a definite answer on that later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. The third question is from Honourable Fishlani, Deputy Chief Whip to the Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Once again, the answer to question 1 from Honourable Fishlani is that municipalities were assessed and one-on-one engagements were held with them in order to get a sense of the challenges that are confronting them. After these specific municipal support and intervention plans were developed for each municipality, these are plans that contain specific support needs. These are plans that contain specific support that are peculiar to each municipality. The support varies from the municipality to municipality, cutting across various pillars such as governance matters, service delivery issues, financial viability, institutional matters, and LED. Support is also given along planning, the area of planning for projects and support on expenditure of municipal grants. Further to the above, the Office of the Premier has initiated a program of support to local government where 5 work streams were established with a view to provide focus and tailor-made support to targeted municipalities. The work streams were on governance and service delivery, municipal debt, municipal audit outcomes, grant expenditure, and disaster management. Specific indicators have been identified with time frames on the support of to the municipalities. The answer to question 2, Honourable Speaker, is that we have observed over the past years that some municipalities have not been able to spend all of their conditional grants. Reasons for under-expenditure include, amongst other things, poor planning, late procurement of services, poor contract management, and poor project implementation and monitoring. As an intervention, we have introduced the risk-adjusted strategy, which seeks to outline strict and clear timeframes for each stage when implementing service delivery projects that are grant-funded. Strategy assists in the timers planning of the projects, submission of PIPs, procurement, implementation, spending, and finally monitoring of the projects. Municipalities are then regularly monitored and made to account on a progress of their spending. The answer to question 3, Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, is that we continue to register meaningful progress from our small town revitalization program, which has proven to be an effective intervention since its inception. Furthermore, the program has created a total of 1,092 jobs opportunities, which is inclusive of 598 youth, 343 adult male, 124 adult females, and 20 unemployed graduates. Lastly, a total of 29 SMMEs work packages were created in the second quarter, which ended on the 30th of September 2023. Below is the progress on the approved projects that are currently being rolled out. Under PSJ, the project construction phase is at 27%, and the project was delayed due to change of scope that was approved by the municipality owing to floods impact. completion date now scheduled for September 2024. Mzimvubu project, the project is at 100% practical completion. Issued in July in 2023. Ndlambe municipality it has concluded procurement processes for retendering due to the termination of a previous contract. The contract to be appointed in November 2023. Enoch Mkijima, Whitley Internal Streets Phase 1 project on construction and progress is at 99%. Practical completion issued on September 2023. Ilinge Phase 1 project completed in July. Ilinge Phase 1B project contractor appointed in July. Progress is at 17%. Great Kai surfacing of Kai Mouth internal street projects on construction. Progress is at 38%. Due to poor performance by the contractor, the municipality submitted approved extension of times and the project recovery plans. Project scheduled to be completed in November. Surfacing of Kinza internal streets projects on construction. Progress is at 95%. Mnuma surfacing of Namakwe internal streets phase 1. Certificate has been issued. Project has been completed. Surfacing of Mchobagazi and Namakwe internal street phase 2 service provider appointed in August 2023. Namakwe electrification service provider appointed in August 2023 and is currently busy with preliminary designs. Dabangulu, surfacing of Dabangulu internal streets, phase 1 project completed in May 2023. Surfacing of Dabangulu internal streets, phase 2 project on construction. Site started in April 2023. And the construction is at 33%. I know in Dabangulu, I've seen a letter from Mayor inviting us to hand over the good work that has been done out of STR there. KSD, construction of Mkanduli, driver's license testing center, the project on construction progress is at 82%. Construction of Mkanduli internal street project is at 37%. Kokama municipality, the site has been established, project started, it's under construction at 23%. Construction of Jopetina sidewalks, appointment letter was issued in June. The site establishment started, the project is currently at 23%. Electrification streets and high mast lights in Ward 5 of Koukama municipality. Tender advert issued in September and closed on the 29th of October. AB Kloma, Dr. AB Kloma municipality surfacing of primary relief road. Appointment letter was issued in June 2023. Site establishment was done in July. Mbashe surfacing of Idujwa internal streets currently at 49%. Construction of Msikiti access road, I once went there myself, I know the situation, is currently at 84%. This will really liberate the people of that area. Of Msikiti. Construction of Sibambe access road is done on phased approach due to environmental restriction caused by vultures. Phase 1 completed, phase 2 to be done from 2023. Blasting Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm done with that question.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Fishlani, do you have any supplementary questions or are you satisfied with the response? Thank you. The fourth question is from Honorable Berger to the Honorable Premier.
Honorable Speaker, I must consider my bonus. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thanks to Honorable Berger. The answer, the question 1 is that during this reporting period ending 30th September 2023, the average availability of medicines at facility level was at 71%. This means that the average availability is 7 out of 10 essential items are available in the province's public health facilities. The provincial target level is 80%, even though we are not at the target levels of availability. Majority of patients are still able to obtain the basic essential medicines needed for the management of the common health conditions in the province. The challenge with maintaining the target stock levels relates to suppliers not having stock on the required items and therefore unable to fulfill our orders. Cash flow constraints of the department leading to a delay in paying medicine supplier accounts. This has led to certain suppliers suspending our accounts and not delivering our stock. These two issues are amongst the reason behind the non-availability or erratic availability of certain essential medicines. Answer to question 2. At the end of September 2023, the department owed 628 million to various medicine suppliers. 25% of this debt is older than 90 days. The department has prioritized the payment of accruals in the first quarter ending June 2023. The department has since paid all the accruals that were brought forward from the previous financial year for medicine. The second quarter was dedicated to reducing the debt owed to medicine suppliers by reducing the accounts older than 90 days. Answer to question 3, the Provincial Department of Health is currently utilizing the 2007 approved organogram. There is a progress underway to develop a new organogram that will respond to the emerging public health needs, aligned with NHI and the updated service delivery model. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Honourable Burger, do you have a supplementary question, or are you satisfied with the response?
Madam Speaker, I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. The fifth question is asked by Honourable Tuabo to the Honourable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honourable Tuabu. Thanks very much, Honourable Speaker. The answer to the first question, a total amount of 126 billion worth of investment was declared at the 2023 Eastern Cape Investment Conference. In the previous installment of the conference, in 2022, an amount of 46 billion was declared with the potential of creating 1,424 direct and indirect jobs. Out of the 10 investments declared in 2022, 4 have been successfully implemented, and jobs realized from those investments. Critical for the recently declared investment is to monitor the implementation of the projects in order to realize the associated jobs from the investment made. A total of 17,654 jobs are estimated to be realized from the 2023 Provincial Investment Conference. These will be monitored on a quarterly basis in line with the implementation plan submitted by investors. Answer to question 2, yes, the projects declared in the recent Provincial Investment Conference have a rural footprint. Some of the declared investments will impact the rural district of our province directly, such as Vodacom is investing 500 million in the ICT sector for expanding connectivity in rural areas and townships. The Universal Service and Access Agency, USASA, is investing 159 million in a broadband implementation project across various regions in the Eastern Cape. I know very well that Minister is coming here next week, Saturday, in Maklasibeni, to launch these projects or connect, so to say, our people who are benefiting out of these investments. Ivili Loboya Wool Processing is investing 45 million in the extension of its processing plant in Baraworth, in Muma, in Amatole. I know the investors there have already indicated that they would want Premier to visit so that to launch the new machinery they've acquired. They've been expecting those machines that they've imported from China. The expansion of the Ibiga Lifestyle Center in Butterworth. The answer to question 3, strengthening of the investment coordination in the province through the establishment of the Provincial Investment Council, which will seek, amongst other objectives, to coordination of support measures to unlock investment in the province, to improve the interface and coordination between government and industry players on trade and investment matters. Also to enhance and improve the regulatory environment for ease of investment in the province. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable Premier. Honourable Tuabo, any supplementary questions, or are you satisfied? Oh, there you're sitting. Thank you so much, Honourable Member. The sixth question is again from Honourable Stevenson to the Honourable Premier.
Honourable Stevenson, you were missing me. So, I don't think so. I'm missing you anymore. Thank you. Yeah. The answer to question one to Honourable Stevenson is that guidelines on the cost containment measures announced by the National Treasury for the 2023-2024 financial year. That's an answer. Answer to question two, freezing of post impact. The freezing of posts will mean that departments will not be able to fill vacant positions, which could lead to a reduction in the services or increased workload for existing staff. The implications: departments will need to carefully consider which posts are essential and which can be left vacant for the time being. Managers will need to be creative in finding ways to manage their workloads with fewer staff. Employees may experience increased stress and burnout. The quality of service delivery may be affected. Despite these fiscal consolidation measures, National Treasury indicated that provincial departments of education and health will be funded for implementing the COE wage agreement in 2023-2024. Infrastructure project spending, the postponement of the infrastructure project could lead to delays in the delivery of essential services such as water, electricity, and transportation. It could also have a negative impact on the economy by reducing job creation and economic growth. The implication: departments will need to carefully prioritize their infrastructure projects and focus on completing those that are most essential. They may also need to consider alternative ways of funding projects such as public-private partnership. The government may need to borrow more money in order to finance essential infrastructure projects. Provincial entities, the cost containment measures announced by the National Treasury will apply to all provincial entities, including municipalities. This could lead to cuts in services, jobs, losses, and increased costs for business and residents. The implication: provincial government and municipalities will need to carefully consider how to implement the cost containment measures in a way that minimizes the impact of service delivery and economy. They may need to make difficult choices about which services to cut and which to maintain. They may also need to find new ways of generating revenue, such as increasing taxes or fees. Overall, the cost containment measures announced by the National Treasury will have a significant impact on the public sector and the economy. It is important for all stakeholders to work together to ensure that the measures are implemented in a way that minimizes the negative impact on service delivery, job creation, and economic growth. The answer to question 4 or to question 3 is that the revised provincial guidelines on cost containment measures were developed and were based on the national guidelines. The guidelines were presented in the provincial management meeting that was chaired by the Director General and attended by all HODs of the provincial departments. The guidelines were also circulated to the accounting officer of all the provincial departments and public entities. In the 2023 technical MTech hearings that were chaired by HOD of Treasury, presentation on the above were further discussed and presented. Answer to question 4, the implication of the proposed cutbacks for the Department of Health include reduced access to health care. Patients may have to wait longer for appointments and procedures, and some services may be reduced or eliminated altogether. Increased workload for healthcare workers. Healthcare workers may have to work longer hours to see more patients, which could lead to burnout and decreased quality of care. Shortage of healthcare workers. The freezing of posts could make it difficult to attract and retain healthcare workers, which could further exacerbate the shortage. Increased costs for patients. Patients may have to pay more for out-of-pocket healthcare costs, such as prescription drugs and co-pays. Under education, the implication of the proposed cutbacks for the Department of Education include larger class sizes. Teacher may have to teach more students, which could make it difficult to provide individualized attention to students. Reduce resources for schools. Schools may have to cut back on programs and resources such as extracurricular activities and supply. Increased workload for teachers. Teachers may have to work longer hours. That's the same story that I've articulated under health. The shortages of teachers. The freezing of posts could make it difficult to attract and retain teachers, which could further exacerbate the situation. Reduced access to education. Some students may not be able to afford to attend school if tuition fees are increased or if financial aid is reduced. Under transport, the implication of the proposed cutbacks for the Department of Roads and Transport include delays in road maintenance and construction. Roads may deteriorate and become more dangerous, and new roads projects may be delayed and cancelled. Reduced public transportation service. Public transport services may be reduced or eliminated altogether, making it difficult for our people to get around. Increased costs for transportation. People may have to pay more for transport costs such as gas and parking. Negative impact on the economy. The reduction in roads maintenance and construction could have a negative impact on the economy by reducing job creation and economic growth. Overall, the proposed cutbacks for the Department of Health, Education and Transport could have a significant negative impact on the public. It is important for the government to consider the implication of these cutbacks carefully before making a final decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Honourable Stevenson, do you have any supplementary questions? Are you satisfied with the response? Yes, Honourable Stevenson.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and to the Honourable Premier for that response. In regard to his answer in relation to cost containment and the public entities, has any progress been made in relation to the rationalization of public entities? Because this has been on the cards for many, many years, certainly even from the last term. And if we have to look at cost containment measures, surely that is one area where we could make more progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Stevenson. Honourable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Yes, as far as I'm aware, but I would ask that I be given another time to give a concrete answer to that, to exact with facts, but I know there's work that is being done in relation to your liquor board and gambling board, as you would understand, but I will be able to give a definite answer.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. The seventh question is asked by Honourable Tikana Gotiwe to the Premier. Over to you, Honourable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Thanks to Honourable Tikana Gotiwe. The answer to that, the National Senior Certificate Grade 12 class of 2023 is the 9th cohort to sit for the National Senior Certificate based on CAP since entering Grade 1 in 2012. The outbreak of COVID-19 adversely impacted this cohort as their teaching and learning was interrupted with the various adjustments made to accommodate teaching, learning and assessment during this time. During the hard lockdown in 2020, the current grade 12 cohort was in grade 9. The environmental changes that happened during and after COVID-19 caused the department to make some educational changes to ensure that teaching and learning takes place and that the curriculum is effectively covered. One of the changes that had curriculum for grade 9 to 11, effectively minimizing the content taught to this cohort and adjustment made to the assessment processes. In ensuring that the 2023 class is ready for 2023 examination, teaching and learning program had to be integrated, had to integrate the recovery of learning losses suffered in previous grades. The department had to ensure that curriculum programs are implemented in a manner that will benefit individual learners through the differentiated support programs. Steps were taken to provide learners with the provincial standardized common mid-year examination with the intent of exposing cohort to full-scale examination. For terms 1, 2, and 3, the cohort compares well with the performance of other cohorts before. This is due to the extraordinary effort of the department to support the class of 2023. The activities performed are detailed in the relevant sections in this report. For the 2023 school year, curriculum intervention programs were divided into 3 phases. The first phase is Term 1 program called the First Push, focusing mainly on identification of troubled spots and recommendation of remedies. This includes target setting and signing off of schools' performance and improvement plans. It is also a period of accountability where underperforming schools present their turnaround plans to the head of department. The second push is a syllabus coverage which meant to cover all basics and is implemented during second term. The aim of the second push is to make sure that all schools cover their syllabus in full and the focus is on time, on task. Interventions included extra tuition classes in the form of morning and afternoon classes, weekends classes, and vacation classes. The last push is a consolidation and a practice phase where taking place during the third term and the fourth term. It is a period of providing additional learner support, additional assessment activities ranging from topic tests, mock exams, and pre-June and pre-trial examinations. It is a 16-week high-level intensive intervention that includes an in-depth analysis of term performance, the revision of targets set by schools, circuits, and districts. Quite a number of interventions were conceptualized and implemented throughout the school year. These include the following: the digital support programs. In support of this high-intensity program, the department deployed ICT and digital platforms to provide extra support, and those included use of the blended teaching and learning in order for learners to catch up, and these includes Teams, Google, Zoom, or other ICT programs. The use of virtual support lessons and intervention of different subjects broadcasted from Eastern Cape Department of Education studios as additional support to learners. Uploading of the worksheet, notes, guidelines, PowerPoint lessons, and lessons plans onto the curriculum website, www.ecurriculum.ec.za. The presentation of radio lessons on 2FM and Mklobo NN stations, access to TV broadcast scheduled, Mindset, DSTV, as well as the SPAC. Support of WASA metric program for additional assistance. use of curriculum tracking tools to report on curriculum coverage per quarter. There were on content, on contact teaching, there were class specific and face-to-face focal program that dealt with the teaching and learning, and they included and extended our program of monitoring and afternoon classes through a number of partnerships. Vacation camps in the form of autumn, winter, and spring classes. Supplementary resources made up of soft and hard copy of mind and gap study guides, electronic textbooks, notes, concepts, banks, worksheet. Mock exams were developed for the June examination and distributed for further learner use during revision. Focused intervention on improvement of the common SBA task. In conclusion, I'm proud to express that we made sure that no learner was left behind in preparation for the 2023 National Senior Certificate examination. Best wishes to all our learners during this pressing period of national examinations. Thank you very much, Honorable.
Thank you so much, Honorable Premier. Honorable Tikana Kotwe, do you have any supplementary questions? You happy with the reply? Thank you, Honorable Member. Before we go to the 8th question, I think it's fitting that we wish Honorable Sondaba a happy birthday. Can we give him a round of just congratulations on this day, Honorable Sondaba. We wish you everything of the best. Oh, there you are. I keep on looking, and Honorable Twabo there. Yeah, I think if you can stand, just stand for us. Yes, yes, there's a happy birthday, Honorable Sondaba. My apologies that you had to be in the house today, but I think you are here. You are well loved. I don't see a cake or an indication. There's no note here that there will be cake and tea, whatever. Perhaps there's a braai somewhere, but yes. Even Honorable Stevenson is asking later on. The 8th question is asked then by the birthday boy, Honorable Sondaba, to the Honorable Premier. Over to you, Honorable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Happy birthday, birthday boy. Happy birthday to you. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, dear Sondaba. The answer to that child, Honorable Speaker, is that first answer is that department has not received any additional budget for the maintenance of roads damaged by recent floods. We are therefore utilizing available resources, including where they are failing or delaying projects. Department prioritizes those funds to attend to the other precious areas within the Eastern Cape Department of Transport Infrastructure. As a long-term plan, we are rolling out reseal and rehabilitation projects to attend to roads that are heavily damaged. Recently advertised projects are rehabilitation of DR 08019 N2 to Ndabankulu, the 18.5 kilometer, rehabilitation of MR 00664 N6 to Moltino, 36 kilometers, reseal of MR 00391 Humansdorp to Hanki, 24 kilometers. We are continuing to work with the National Department of Public Works and Infrastructure on implementation of rural bridges under the Weli Sizwe program. So unfortunately, we are here, Minister of Finance is tabling the MTD PPS, so we would have known whether we've got money or not there. The answer to second question, Eastern Cape Department of Transport received an additional 122 million for disaster that occurred in April 2022. This was contrary to assessment that was conducted, which came at a cost of 1.3 billion. This therefore means additional budget does not equate to added needs of disasters. Department also received additional budget for Welisizwe program, an amount of 190 million. This is for implementation of rural bridges with the National Department of Public Works and Infrastructure as an implementing agent. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Sondaba, any supplementary question? Are you satisfied with the response? Thank you, Honorable Sondaba. The 9th question is asked by Honorable Matiwane to the Honorable Premier. Over to you, Honorable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thanks to Honorable Matiwane. The answer to the first question. The Office of the Premier conducts quarterly monitoring and evaluation exercise in Isikalo projects and produce reports that detail the effectiveness of the businesses and the limitation for improvement. In terms of scale, ever since its establishment, Isikalo Youth Fund has supported 43 youth businesses financially between 2020 and 2022, dispersing more than 30 million. The impact in terms of jobs created is as follows. For Batch 1, which has 8 beneficiaries dispersed in 2019, 67 jobs were created. For Batch 2, which has 13 beneficiaries dispersed in 2020, 154 jobs were created. For Batch 3, which has 22 beneficiaries, a total number of 108 jobs were created. In total, 329 jobs were created or retained by the youth-owned businesses supported through Isikalo Youth Fund. Isikalo Youth, along with the other funding mechanism in the province, plays a crucial role in supporting emerging youth businesses. The Eastern Cape province has seen a consistent decline in unemployment, dropping from 47.9% in the fourth quarter of 2020 to 39.7% in the second quarter of 2023. Credit is due to all the initiatives and interventions driven by the provincial government for this positive trend. Answer to question 2, the Office of the Premier conducts quarterly visits to young entrepreneurs funded through IYF for assessing their sustainability and to intervene where additional non-financial support is needed, such as training or monitoring or mentoring. The OTP is in the process of developing memorandums of understanding to be signed with DDIT, ECDC, and the municipalities to continuously monitor for continuous monitoring of funded project beneficiaries. The Provincial Treasury also conducts monitoring and evaluation of these funded entrepreneurs and conduct reports with the recommendation on how to maintain the sustainability of these entrepreneurs. Answer to question 3, the provincial government has set up a provincial target of 200,000 youth employment opportunities for 2023-2024 financial year. The provincial department submitted a total of 112,932 youth employment opportunities for 2023-2024 financial year. The initiatives that are being earmarked as tools to drive jobs creation for the youth include graduate or internship and learnership, which are projected to accommodate 10,995 young people in 2023-2024 in the provincial government. EPWP labor activation plan at 40,100 commitment. The PYEI is the biggest youth employment initiative, the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative. The 50 million historic debt initiative, which is led by the Office of the Premier, has assisted hundreds of learners and obtained their qualification, placing and giving them a better opportunity to find jobs. The Office of the Premier has reached an agreement with the MESITA, which will see an additional 70 million being awarded to institutions of higher learning in the province, including TVET colleges, through funding initiatives such as Isikalo Jobs Fund, Imvaba Fund, STREP, and the provincial government is geared towards employment creation for youth. The provincial government is currently in the process of reviewing the provincial youth strategy, aligning it with the National Integrated Youth Development Strategy. Within this strategy, a comprehensive monitoring and evaluation plan will be developed. In the interim, Honorable Speaker, departments, municipalities, and entities provide quarterly progress reports on their youth employment initiatives. These reports are endorsed by head of departments and are crucial for tracking progress towards creating jobs or youth job opportunities. Premier's newly established CREC team has initiated a work stream dedicated to coordinating the enhancement of the youth development integration at a strategic level. This process is expected to generate key outputs that will put the Office of the Premier in establishing accountability platforms for youth machinery at the provincial, district, and local municipality level. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Honourable Matiwane, any supplementary questions? Or are you satisfied with the response? Satisfied. Thank you. Thank you so much, Honourable Matiwane. The last question is from Honourable Camilio Benjamin to the Honourable Premier.
The first answer is that I got the hat from Honourable Benji. Thank you very much, Honourable Benji, for that hat. So if I turn out to be a dictator or a gangster, it's Benji's fault. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Thanks to Honourable Benjamin. The answer to the first question, under Gavendale, the station developed a recovery file to deal with mass murder and firearms involved. The station established sector forums to deal with shootings. An operational plan in terms of the 5-pillar approach was also developed. Crime intelligence, Gavendale Information Management are responsible for gathering information on the occurrence of possible targets and plan operation daily and weekly. Multidisciplinary operations are done weekly on identified hotspots to recover firearms. Crime prevention operations are done by the Gavendale, the FISPOL, Crime Office, and the tracing team. On Pillar 3, the utilization of AGU, TRT, and known drug post for criminal hideouts. Pillar 4, crime detections are doing weekly suspects raiding by use of crime intelligence and Gavendale detectives on vigilantism. Partnership between organizations such as NPA and detective work together with crime intelligence to identify possible vigilantism through docket analysis. Pillar 5, communication of successes received from the community are posted on social platforms or any information platforms to assist the police to prevent future mass shooting. The multidisciplinary compliance interaction in the terms of the Firearm Control Act is done to seize firearms, and compliance with regard to police and prescripts is adhered to in the process. Short spotter activated are done by a FISPOL of the station, but are only limited to Helenvale. Establishment of community in blue is done in the areas of concern. Community Policing Forum and police are having monthly meetings. Spiritual crime prevention has been established in churches and the affected gang areas. High visibility operations were done to discover drugs and firearms. Morning and after morning patrols was done around schools in Galvendale. Under Bethersdorp, street imbizos addressing community conduct awareness campaigns. Imbizos activate informers in all the hotspots areas, intensify blue lights control, increase stop and search patrols, ensure taverns and shipping comply with the Liquor Act of 2022 by not allowing minors at the premises and closing on time. Through the CPF and street committees, hand out pamphlets that are addressing criminal conducts. the high density operations on hotspot tracing and of wanted suspects within 24 hours, ensuring prosecution is done swiftly and abruptly. Engage youth in sport and recreation so as to ensure that they do not involve themselves in crime activities. Under Gavendale, CPF and White Door of Hope Victim Support Center are assisting the community with regard to the shooting. The relevant departments, NGOs and NPA are utilized to support the victims by use of psychological support, counseling and spiritual services, as well as giving support to the families. Under Bethesdorp, the station is giving regular feedback to the affected families, referrals for counseling and employee health and wellness, are constantly visiting the families of the victims. Answer to question 3, Provincial Anti-Gang Unit was established to serve in the northern areas with regard to crime of vigilante. They are involved in patrolling in areas of concern. Anti-Gang Unit, Metro Police and K9 were used to assist with high-density operations on affected areas. Under Bethesdorp, Operation Chanela, which is ongoing, was launched in the northern areas in Gavendale and at Galvin Track on the 25th August 2023 to mitigate incidents such as these and ensuring that perpetrators are brought to books and sentenced accordingly. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Camillo Benjamin, do you have any supplementary questions or satisfied with the response?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. It's only on question 1, pillar 5B. I'm not sure. It must be checked if the shot spotter is still activated. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, so that is just a comment from your side. Honorable Premier, let me take this opportunity to thank you for availing yourself. I think this is always an auspicious occasion within the House when we have you here for almost an hour to respond to this. And this is not the end this for the financial year. There's still more to come. So thank you so much. Can we give the Premier a round of applause for that? And for all members that have taken the time to ask pertinent and direct questions and for it to be answered by the Honorable Premier. You may be seated, Honorable Premier. Thank you so much. Honorable members, yes. We now come to a very, very important part of the program. As we have just concluded the questions to the Premier, we will now be dealing with the launch of the TB caucus. And I had deliberately not introduced any of the members because I thought let's do it at the appropriate time. We will now be conducted into a committee of the whole House. We will recall that the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature officially formed an ad hoc committee on TB caucus through a notice of motion moved by our Honourable Chief Whip of the Legislature. Today, the House will therefore join other provinces who have officially launched a TB caucus, which is mainly responsible for assisting the province in reducing illness and death from TB. To mark this occasion, we are joined by the Eastern Cape AIDS Council, which has been instrumental in ensuring that we have formally established the TB caucus. And I could also mention, my understanding, still Premier, you are the chairperson of the Eastern Cape AIDS Council. Is that not so? Yes, our own Premier is the chairperson. I will now introduce the Eastern Cape AIDS Council delegation, Mr. Vuisa Daile. He is the head of the ECAC Secretariat. Yes, thank you. Dr. Pelisa Dana. Where is she? Oh, she's sitting up there. Welcome, ma'am. I thought Ms. Bulelwa Mhlonto. Yes, I see all the old faces. Ms. Ziodo Arends. No, where's Ziodo? Is not here. Ms. Ota Tamela. Yes, welcome. Ms. Zandi Goza. There she is. Mr. Melikai Lusiti. I have not seen where's... Ah, my friend, welcome. Mr. Lulama Mpashla. Oh, right at the end, right at the back, we cannot even see you. So that is basically the Eastern Cape AIDS Council, and you are welcome in the house. It's not often that you get here and to engage with us. Then we also have the SENEC delegation that is with us. It's quite a formidable delegation, honorable members, and I think it's the first time that the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature has actually at this level interacted with such an auspicious delegation. Mr. Nelson Dlamini, he's the executive in the office of the CEO of SENEC. Welcome, sir. Mr. James Mekwa is the TB technical advisor. Oh, he's already sitting ready to speak. From the Department of Health and OTP, we also have Mr. Mawetu Yake, Mr. Lita Klaas, Mr. Nobushle Luke, and Ms. Leletu Botterman. Where are they seated? They should actually have been down here, that's why. And then also from the Civil Society Forum, which is very, very important for the TB and HIV AIDS. It's driven and it's maintained by the Civil Society Forum, Nontsikelelo Gwabe. From the PLHIV sector, are they not here? But also Melikai is there. Then Bululani Palesweni from the men's sector. They will just, I don't see the people here. Wongeka Katazi from the women's sector. Portia Mgadi from the NGO sector. Michael Matanzima from the children's sector, as well as a representative from the ex-mine workers intervention program, Mr. Sonwabile Kaba. So that is a very big delegation. I'm noting not all of them are here, but I see people are all scattered there in the dark. It's sometimes very difficult. We have a program in front of us that should take us plus minus 45 minutes. We will have an overview of the importance and why a South African TB caucus, and Mr. James Mekwa will come forward, and you've got 10 minutes, within 10 minutes to do that. Everything for us is time-bound in the legislature, but welcome, sir. You can give him a round of applause, honorable members.
Okay, thank you very much to the Honorable Speaker, followed by the Deputy Speaker and our Honorable Premier as well. So I would like to take this opportunity and extend my gratitude for this opportunity that I've been granted to take us through the overview of the TB caucus. And without any waste of time, because I only have 10 minutes, I would also like to extend my gratitude and greet all members of the Parliament present and esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, greetings. And now, getting right into the topic of the TB caucus. So I'll just give an overview of what the TB caucus is all about, and there'll be other steps that will follow hereafter. So now, in the context of South Africa, it was decided or launched on the 4th of September in 2018, and in that sitting, both houses of parliament, the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces resolved to establish the South African chapter of the Global TB Caucus with the aim of eliminating TB as a public health threat by 2030, which is in line with the United Nations high-level declaration. And now looking at the global context of the TB caucus, this was established in October 2014 by the United Nations, and this is a worldwide network of parliamentarians which ministers of health, the then Minister of Health, which was Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, was the co-chair together with Honorable Lord Nick Herbert. So the TB caucus, in its own making, it's meant to be the structure which galvanizes parliamentarians to become champions in the fight against TB. It was established with the understanding that to end TB, we need political heads to commit and champion the fight against TB, which is mainly affected by many factors. And we know that TB is the world's leading infectious killer disease, although it can be treated and cured. So when one looks back at the history of TB and where we're coming from, TB treatment has been around from as far back as around, the 1940s, but to this day we're still having people that are dying. Globally, we're having about 1.5 to 1.6 million people dying from this disease that we know is curable and treatable. So hence, we are here to try and reignite our fight towards this killer disease. So when we're looking at the TB caucus itself is open to all parliamentarians and legislatures. And in their resolution, the two houses noted that TB is the leading cause of death even in South Africa, and that the South African chapter of the Global TB Caucus was intended to raise awareness and support efforts to accelerate the elimination of the disease by 2030, which is in line with the set targets by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So the caucus would also provide platforms for members of the parliament and legislatures to champion the response of TB in their constituencies and drive the political action to end the disease. SANAC was then tasked to coordinate the Global TB Caucus in South Africa, and last year, the Speaker of the Parliament indicated that to reinvigorate the focus on TB, launch the TB caucus in the provinces that have not done so. And this aligns with the call to end TB by the year 2030, in the national, which is enshrined in the National Strategic Plan for HIV, TB, STIs in South Africa. So for this reason, that is why we are gathered here today to launch the provincial TB caucus for the province of the Eastern Cape. However, it should be noted that SANAC plays a coordinating role, and the ownership of the caucus in the province lies within the legislature, and the accountability lies with the Speaker of the legislature, who can then delegate the functions to whomever she deems fit to champion the activities of the TB caucus in the province. And this includes, among other things, the drafting of the work plan, which will clearly outline clear activities of the TB caucus, including fundraising mechanisms, awareness, and advocacy. All this should be led by the legislator members of the TB caucus, and today we have 6 provinces that have launched so far in South Africa, and those provinces are the Northwest, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, Gauteng, Western Cape, and the KZN, which launched their TB caucus last month. And it is worth noting that much as I'm counting 6 provinces that have launched, some of them we still need to go back and do the induction and assist them to be up and running. So today we're here so that we assist or we partake in the launch of the provincial TB caucus for the province of the Eastern Cape, which will be the 7th one to be added to the list. Now it will be known that the TB caucus is launched in South Africa, and because as SANAC we know that our actions count. And I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mekwa. I think you've done very, very well in that respect. I will now call upon the MEC of Health, MEC Meth, that will give us the, shall we call it, the main speech of the day. You've got 15 minutes, Honorable MEC. You may clap for MEC Meth.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon to you, the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier, the Honorable EXCO members of this province, Honorable Chief Whip, Honorable Chair of Chairs, Traditional Leaders Portfolio Committee on Health, as led by Honorable Nyalambisa. Honorable members of the House, Eastern Cape Department of Health team, as led by the acting HOD, Ms. Gede. The South African National AIDS Council team, as led by Dr. Nkwashu. I hear now is Mr. Dlamini and Mr. Mekwa. The Eastern Cape AIDS Council team, as led by the co-chair, Mr. Lusiti. The Ex-Miners Council leadership, present here as led by the president of the Southern African Miners Association, Mr. Xaba, who is the president, and all our honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I stand before you today as a proud and patriotic South African who is still basking in the historic and unprecedented 4th Rugby World Cup by our boys. It was sweeter in that we won against our old foe, the All Blacks. We are hoping that people in all parts of the Eastern Cape will be afforded an opportunity to experience and see the Webb Ellis Trophy close, regardless of their geographical location, be it deep rural or affluent areas. Also celebrated President Oliver Reginald Tambo, who would have turned 106 years on Friday, the 27th, had he still lived. The victory was a fitting tribute to him. As the province of the Eastern Cape, we are also making a very significant milestone as we are launching this TB caucus. As we start the debate this afternoon, we must take comfort from the fact that despite our numerous challenges, including TB, our Rainbow Nation is determined to win as we witness the Springboks. We are, after all, a resilient people. It is a scientifically proven fact that TB is the #1 killer disease in our country. The Eastern Cape is the most affected province by the TB epidemic in the whole country. The previous National Strategic Plan for HIV, TB and STIs 2017 to 2023 adopted a focus for impact strategy. This strategy identified 17 highly burdened districts, municipalities in the country. Out of the 17 that we identified, 5 are in the Eastern Cape province. These 2 points are a testament to the urgency that is required to deal with TB epidemic in our province. Honorable members, our country is a signatory to the United Nations Joint Program on AIDS, UNAIDS. Through this institution, we are on course to make sure that we achieve Vision 2030, that of having TB no longer a public health threat. Unfortunately for us in the Eastern Cape, it looks like for the country to reach this target, it depends on us to do better. I therefore urge all of us to rise to the occasion. The second point is that TB is driven by multiple drivers and social determinants. Amongst them, we can mention the high levels of HIV prevalence in our province, poverty, overcrowding, migration, substance abuse, stigma, and discrimination. This means that the work of responding to TB resides in all government departments, whose oversight is done by this House. I would like, therefore, to implore all honorable members to not only do oversight on the Department of Health in its response to TB, but all government departments. We are also hoping that TB caucus in its plan will identify the specific areas that each department must play in the TB response and advise the House accordingly. The third point is that government has made tremendous strides and commitments to strengthen and improve treatment adherence. Madam Speaker, you will recall that on the 1st of September 2023, the National Department of Health launched a 6-month regimen at Joseph Pearson TB Hospital for the management of drug-resistant TB. This is a great milestone for our, our patients, as the number of tablets a patient has to take during this journey to treatment has drastically decreased from an average of 7,200 tablets per treatment course prior to 2013 to 2,918 for the patients who are currently receiving the 9-month regimen. The new 6-month regimen has led to further reduction from the tablets from 2,980. Now what I hear, Honorable Speaker. Yeah, from 2,918 to 734 tablets. Thank you, my Honorable Shadow. In the name of peace. Okay. This suggests that our drug-resistant TB patients are taking now 23 pills a week instead of 23 pills a day. This story is a story of good progress, and it deserves a round of applause, honorable members, as it shows that we are serious about fighting TB, as we believe this new regimen will lead to more treatment adherence for drug-resistant TB patients. Madam Speaker, we must say that one of our biggest challenges in the fight against TB has been the high levels of high loss to follow-up. This problem is bidimensional. The first big dimension is patients-related aspects. For an example, some people deliberately provide wrong addresses, cell phone numbers, and just don't pitch up on the day that they are supposed to collect their treatment or escape from TB hospitals without completing their treatment. In Sarah Batman, the high TB loss to follow-up is due to seasonal employment, patients who are on TB treatment and do not finish their treatment once they are no longer working in the farms. Instead, they go back to their homes, resulting in patients interrupting TB treatment. We need to join hands and educate our communities on the importance of adherence to TB treatment. We would like to urge members working in different constituencies to work together with us to make our communities aware that TB is curable and raise awareness on the dangers of not completing treatment, not only for themselves as patients, but also for their family members and close associates. People who do not adhere to treatment increase the TB-related death rate in the province and increase TB incidence. We understand some of the reasons often put forward by patients for not showing up for treatment and ending up defaulting. Some of those reasons that they raise relate to their fears of being treated harshly for missing follow-up appointments. We are continuing to implement the Welcome Back campaign, and so we would like to ask the members to please inform their constituencies that people who have missed appointments or who have stopped taking their treatment altogether and still want to come back for treatment should please come to our facilities because they will be prioritized. Honorable Speaker, the department is looking at interacting closely with Eastern Cape Ex-Miners Council and Eastern Cape AIDS Council in mainstreaming the TB in the mines. We take an advantage of social partnership with Southern African Miners Association to respond on the regional TB program. This is one of the main areas to deal with legacy matters on the occupational health diseases. We are working around the clock to work with National Department of Health and Chamiso Trust on compensation on TB. We also work with OTP through the Premier Steering Committee. Even though there has been a budget cut of 81 million rand on the TB HIV program in terms of the grant as imposed by the government as austerity measures or budget cuts, we will not stop trying our best to fight the TB virus. The second dimension is a system-related issue. Our system is not capable of capturing patients who have moved from one area to another. This distorts the numbers of patients as patients who move from one area to another. They get registered as lost to follow-up on one side, whilst being registered as a new patient on the other side. As a department, we are working on the prospects of having one central data system that will centralize all health facilities so that people who attend our facilities or all facilities can be able to be transitioned smoothly. This is a huge project that is being implemented step by step The fourth important area where we need the help of the TB caucus is in advocating for more resources for the TB response. Compared to the extent of the problem, the resources for TB are very small. They are not anywhere enough. As the province mostly affected by TB epidemic, we need to be at the forefront of advocating for more resources for TB from government, private sector, and international donor agencies. The municipalities are the worst when it comes to budgeting for TB, and through the focused work of TB caucus ad hoc committee, we are hoping that we'll see improvement in resource allocation for TB response. The last area is fostering accountability in implementing TB recovery plan. One of the strategies outlined in the recovery plan is to find the undiagnosed people with TB. To find undiagnosed patients will require scaling up routine testing for patients by introducing targeted universal TB testing to patients living with HIV, household contacts, and previously treated TB patients. Honorable Speaker, I must say that our communities, especially members of civil society, are quite agitated when it comes to TB response. In 2021, there was a call from civil society to make TB a national emergency. The argument was quite simple. TB kills more people a year than COVID-19 did. The then Deputy President of the country, Trustanak, came to a compromising position with the CSF to develop a TB recovery plan. The TB caucus must therefore monitor the implementation of that plan in the Eastern Cape. As a home of legends, they have always been at the forefront of fighting for what's right. The Eastern Cape must take a lead in making TB a priority so that we can beat it. In conclusion, we would like to thank you, Madam Speaker, and the honorable members of the House once again for making all the means necessary, including revisiting and changing the rules of the House to accommodate the establishment of the committee. We would like to also congratulate Honorable Nyalambisa and the other members of the ad hoc committee on their appointment, and we commit to provide them with all necessary support to achieve this important task. TB is curable. We urge all of us to play our part so that we can live in a TB-free province and country. This can be done if we work together as government, civil society, traditional leaders, religious fraternity, and communities. After all, President Nelson Mandela said it best when he said, I quote, "It always seems impossible until it is done," close quote. It is possible to beat TB, but we must advocate for our people to take and finish their treatment. It cannot be that people feel better, they stop taking their treatment and end up dying. No one should be dying from TB because it is curable. Lo mngeni sinawo we-TB ufuna ubani nobani adlale indima yakhe eqinisekiseni abantu balufumana uncedo ukwenzela sizoyohlula i-TB. Uqikelelwa ngokuba kukho abantu abayi-150,000 ku-South Africa yonke abane-TB kodwa bangakayazi ukuba banayo, undiagnosed. I-National TB Prevalence Survey eyayenziwe ngo-2018 yabuya neziphumo ezithi umyinge wabantu abaku-66% abaneempawu ze-TB baye bangafumani incedo ngezizathu ezahlukeneyo. Enye yezo zizathu kukuba bekade kunyanzelekile umuntu aye ekliniki xa efuna ukuhlolelwa i-TB, nto leyo abanye abantu bebengayenzi. Kungoko ke sinephulo le-TB check esinethemba ukuba abantu bazothi balisebenzisa ngobuninzi babo ukwenzela ukuba umntu uneempawu ze-TB akwazi ukudibana noncedo azothi atye iipilisi. We urge all honorable members to encourage our constituencies to make use of the TB check service by dialing *134, *832, *5# or sending TB to 0601234456 on WhatsApp and follow all the instructions. Ntemnandi ke ngale service kukuba ubani na xa ethe on a phone wakwazi ukuyenza le TB self-testing. Uba ufumaniseke semngciphekweni we-TB, uyafumana imessage emcebisa ukuba aye kwikliniki ekufutshane nalapho ahlala khona. So let's work together to end TB. It is possible. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Meth, the MEC for Department of Health. Thank you. We will now have responses from the political parties. I call upon the DA, Honorable Cowney. You have 3 minutes. Up front, please. Well, I don't see the EFF, and will be followed by the Freedom Front Plus, Honorable Burger, followed by the ANC, Honorable Anil Kumar. All of you have got 3 minutes. Over to you, Honorable Cowley.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, Honourable Premier, Honourable Members of the House, officials and guests, I greet you. Good afternoon. Madam Speaker, TB is a killer disease, and sadly South Africa is one of 10 countries with the triple scourge of TB, multiple drug-resistant MDR TB, and TB coexisting alongside HIV, mostly prevalent in communities with depressed socio-economic circumstances, but not limited to them. The global initiative to advocate for the reduction and ultimately the eradication of this killer disease is urgent and necessary. Up until 2019, South Africa and indeed the Eastern Cape had a good handle on the disease, especially with the 1990 strategy, which means that 90% of the population must be screened for TB, and of that cohort, a minimum of 90% must be placed on treatment, and of that cohort, 90% of patients must have been successfully treated. So what went wrong? The global COVID-19 pandemic ripped communities apart and put unimaginable pressure on an already constrained health service. People stayed away from health institutions through fear, even if it meant foregoing their medication. This seems to have spurred a culture of patients not completing medication cycles, and this has caused the deterioration of the successful treatment rate, the final 90%. Ooh, that wasn't me. Which is now below 70%, and it means that patients lost to follow-up treatment are embedding the disease in their communities again. The objectives of this caucus are clear: improve public awareness, find the missing TB patients, facilitate access to TB services for early diagnosis, ensure uninterrupted availability of drugs, and ensure that each sub-district has functional decentralized MDR sites. Our challenges will be twofold. Firstly, as the department faces ongoing cash flow problems, the lack of vital drugs has plagued many facilities. No access to crucial drugs will cripple the intentions of the TB caucus. It is incumbent upon the Eastern Cape Department of Health, together with all partners, to secure continuous availability of TB meds. Second challenge is retaining the patients on treatment until they are totally cured. Only through constant advocacy on all available platforms can we break this cycle of losing TB patients to follow-up. A whole-of-society approach is essential if we are to change the stigma and the trajectory of TB once and for all. The Democratic Alliance unequivocally supports the launch of the TB caucus in the Eastern Cape. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Cowley. Honourable Burger? Oh, sorry. Over to you. Your 3 minutes starts now, followed by Honourable Anil Kumar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. All House protocols observed, and a special welcome to all the delegates for this specific purpose. Madam Speaker, I have had the privilege to have been involved in a number of TB hospitals in the Eastern Cape, and I am almost tempted to say that it looks like the TB hospitals are neglected. And if I say that, it would be because there is a perception in the public, at least I think, that TB is stigmatized. I do not want to make that statement, though, because I think healthcare facilities across the Eastern Cape is in serious trouble. Madam Speaker, at a recent outreach we had visiting healthcare facilities in the Buffalo City area, we have been to the TB hospital in Tanzania. Gift of the Givers has redone 2 of the wings from roof to floor, and those wings are functional. They are beautiful and functional. From what I've seen during that visit, the rest of the hospital is standing empty. It is something. TB needs more attention. As MEC said, it is a curable disease. It can be cured. It just needs more attention, more will. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Burger. Honourable Anil Kumar from the ANC, your 3 minutes starts now.
Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, House at large, 4th September 2018, it was a historical day in the National Parliament. Both parliaments, the National Assembly as well as the National Council of Provinces, took a very magnanimous decision to say that both houses resolved that they are going to start or to establish a TB caucus, which is part of the global TB focus. Just before that, 2014, African National Congress representative, that is Dr. Arun Mutsledi, he was then the health minister. He was co-chairing the global TB caucus, which actually said all parliamentarians should be galvanized so that we can all fight against this infectious killer disease. And today we are here. As African National Congress, as we started, we are going to give unwavering support on this thing. 52nd Conference of African National Congress, the successive 53rd Conference of the African National Congress explicitly discussed, simply because if you look at 2010-2011, according to the World Health Organization, 110,000 lives were lost because of TB. If you count from 2010, 1 million people lost its life. When we come to our own Eastern Cape province, the incidence rate of TB is at around 600 and something. If you compare with Limpopo, which is at the lowest level of 301, we got a responsibility. Sarah Batman district, which is over 1,000. And it is the prediction of the World Health Organization, if we don't attack this one at this time, 2050, 75 million population of the globe will die. So we have no reason to say that we should not support this. This is an incredible initiative, and part of this, as African National Congress, we always say better life for all, better life start from health. We unwaveringly support this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Anil Kumar. I now call the Provincial Chairperson of the Civil Society Forum that will give us a message of support. I have graciously given them 5 minutes, not 3 minutes, because I think it is important that we listen to civil society. Over to you, Mr. Lusiti.
Greetings to the Honourable Speaker, the Honourable Premier, Honourable MECs, Honourable members of the Eastern Cape Legislature, comrades and colleagues. As the Eastern Cape AIDS Council Civil Society Forum, it pleases us now that the Eastern Cape TB Caucus has finally been launched today. And I'm extremely proud because I am also the TB ambassador for the Eastern Cape at the South African National AIDS Council. The launch is happening during perilous times for the health response nationally and provincially, as the health minister pronounced a couple of weeks ago that due to austerity measures, the budget for HIV and TB will be cut by roughly R1 billion. This displeases us as the civil society, as we see health as one of the critical departments of public service, and more money should be invested in it and not deducted, particularly with the recent NHI public hearings that took place in our province, where we as civil society overwhelmingly accepted the implementation of NHI by our government. Universal health coverage in South Africa needs more resources invested in our public health system, and the launch of the Presidential Health Summit Compact in 2019 had this in mind in order to strengthen our health system. Cutting almost R1 billion from HIV and TB programs then seems contradictory to what our government aims to achieve, as we know that most people living with HIV and TB use our public health facilities, which means this might be detrimental to their service delivery, thus exacerbating the already high numbers of loss to follow-up from people living with HIV and/or TB. Honourable leaders, we need to give priorities to our TB response, just as we did with COVID-19, and fortunately, there are already lessons learned from the TB response from what we've learned on COVID-19 response. Let's also ensure that 3HP is available for adults and 3RH is available for children at all our public health facilities as part of our TB preventative therapy, which will take a shorter time, thus improving adherence to treatment. Let us work towards the provision of BPAL at all our public health facilities for people taking treatment for MDR-TB, which will drastically reduce the NDR-TB treatment to just 6 months. As the Eastern Cape AIDS Council Civil Society TB Task Team, which I also lead, we are looking forward to an amicable working relationship between the Eastern Cape TB Caucus and ourselves as a task team, Civil Society Forum task team, and move forward will ensure that of full participation of our comrades dealing with ex-minors with TB in order to ensure our civil society structures leave no one behind. And as this collective, we're looking forward on getting updates on the implementation of the TB Recovery Plan 2.0. And in closing, honourable members, we call for the participation of organized civil society structures in all health councils at provincial, district, and local levels. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lusiti. I now call upon Honorable Nyalambisa to give us an introduction on the members of the ad hoc committee and possibly just share a few words with us. Over to you, Honorable Nyalambisa. She is the caucus chairperson, the TB caucus chairperson, I must put it like that. Yes. TB caucus chairperson. Over to you, Honorable Member.
Greetings, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, Honorable Chief Whip of the ruling party, MECs, members of the legislature, our guests, gallery, I greet you all. Honorable Speaker, I will start with the Rules Committee resolution. Following engagement of Eastern Cape AIDS Council with Honorable Speaker to the legislature, the concept on establishing a TB caucus was tabled on the Rules Committee in May 2022 and resolved that first bullet, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Health should be appointed as the chairperson for the TB caucus as the matter falls within the Department of Health. Second bullet, an ad hoc committee be established in terms of the standing rules to be responsible for the TB caucus. Third bullet, the National Parliament's approach be followed of having the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Health chairing the ad hoc committee. Motion in the House. The motion was passed in the House and the House resolved as follows. First bullet, to establish an ad hoc committee to be known as the Ad hoc Committee on TB in accordance with Rule 61 of the Standing Rules of the Legislature. Second bullet, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Health be appointed as the chairperson for the Ad hoc Committee on TB and further consist of members nominated by their political parties as represented in the legislature in the following manner. 3 members from the ANC, 1 from DA, 1 from EFF, and 1 from UDM. Terms of reference. The terms of reference of the TB caucus are to assist with 1, reduction of illness and death from TB and care and adherence to support for all. 2, promotion of leadership at all levels and shared accountability. 3, mobilization of resources to support achievement of NSP and ensure a sustainable HIV, TB, and STI program. Status of the ad hoc committee. The TB caucus has been formally established and is made up of the following honorable members: Nyalambisa N, chairperson; Honorable Pongo, N, Honorable Pillay, N, A, Honorable Kaule J, Honorable Zindi N, and Honorable Madigizela S. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the establishment of the ad hoc committee is very important in the fight to end TB. Through this committee, there will be a targeted approach to fight the disease. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nyalambisa. TB Caucus Chairperson, I must get that tongue twister because we usually say the chairperson of. Thank you so much. Honorable members, that brings to an end the TB Caucus launch. And let me once again extol gratitude to the Honorable MEC for availing herself to debate with us here today, to the members of the TB Caucus, as well as to members that are represented from the Eastern Cape AIDS Council, from SENEC, civil society, as well as the support staff that is here. I think commitment has been shown today in the House that there will be a very positive working relationship between the structures, and we've got one aim. We need to reduce TB. There is commitment to do that, and we need to be active and vocal in that space. So all the best to the TB Caucus and to the healthy working relationship. And we all know we might be number 6 or number 7, Mr. Daile, but I'm quite sure that this TB Caucus will show that we can, as the legislature, maintain that oversight and make sure that things are happening. So well done once again, and thank you so much for coming to the legislature. Nkosi kakhulu. Thank you. Baie dankie mense. Next up, honorable members, we are having a virtual sitting in terms of Rule 87 of our standing rules, whereby a person who is not a member of the legislature may address the legislature if invited by the Speaker after consultation with the WIPS Committee. And for this session, we have invited the Auditor General and her delegation, and they are joining us on the hybrid virtual sitting for the status of the MFMA material irregularities in the Eastern Cape. I hope that the Auditor General and her team is ready for us. I see yes, I see the Auditor General, Ms. Tsakani Maluleke, is present, and I'm quite sure she will introduce her delegation. It's quite a long list, almost 12, if not 13 people, but I'll allow her to introduce those relevant to the presentation that is in front of us. Honorable members, please, Honorable Kumonye. I can even hear you from here. Yes, it's very disturbing if that is the... So I will allow the Honorable AG. She has been busy with road shows, so she has slotted in. Initially, we had agreed that it will be a physical presentation, but because she had to be in another province and she needed to conclude the Eastern Cape. So they are joining us from Zoom. We are being quite innovative, and I will then hand over to the Auditor General. Always good, AG, in your presence, because you always bring truth to these issues that is confronting in the local government space. Over to yourself, AG, and your team.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm in fact delighted that you were able to afford us this opportunity. The team that is with me is comprises people that you know, Madam Honorable Speaker. Should we know who leads the province? Sanita Maharaj, who is the head of the portfolio that works directly with Sydney, and I have with me the head of audit responsible for all of the national audits have shared these MIs with the individual municipalities concerned. We've also shared them with the provincial executive, and this time around we're sharing it with yourselves. And it's key to say that when you engage with local government on their audit outcomes or any other matters, please do have due regard to these MIs. And similarly, when you do engage with the provincial treasury, with the office of the premier and with COPTA, do ask them the two critical questions. One is, how are you helping a municipality deal with their MI as raised by the AG? And two would be, to what extent is the response by the municipal manager going to avoid a reoccurrence of these MIs? The issue for us is not about individual MIs only. It's mostly about ensuring that we strengthen the public institutions that are municipalities so that we avoid the recurrence. On slide number 4,
you so much, AG, for that. Let me just find out, is there anyone that will possibly, anyone else from your office that will still speak, or can I then hand over to the honourable members, particularly those from the Portfolio Committee of COCTA that may want to ask a question? Thank you. Thank you so much. Honourable members, any questions, clarities, comments to the AG? No. Surely this can't be members of COCTA. Yes, Honourable Malamlela is one hand, Honourable Cowley is the second one. Only two members? I thought, Deputy Chief Whip, I thought your hand was up. Over to you, Honourable Malamlela.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I'll be very short. The first one is a clarity from the presenters. If there is a kind of a commitment to say this is an action plan we're having in trying to address this situation, and after that action plan nothing is happening, what powers do they have as Auditor General to pursue that in the form of possible opening a case for that particular municipal manager or whoever is the leader? The second one, looking at this picture that is painted here, Chair, I think our performance in the municipalities is really appalling. I think something must be done by our provincial premier, including the MEC for COCTA. And what is amazing to me is that even the district municipalities premier are in this situation. So you can imagine the services that are being delivered to our people. We are denying our own people if we are doing these kind of things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Cowley.
Thanks very much, Honourable Speaker. Very briefly, I'd like to know from the AG if they have a breakdown of the Enoch Mgijima's material irregularities, whether there's been an improvement at all or whether there's been a decline in their performance. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Cowley. AG, over to you. You've basically got 3 questions posed to you. Thank you so much to AG once again. And I think that basically concludes the presentation by the AG. Let me, on behalf of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, thank you once again to the AG and to your team for taking the time to brief us as the legislature on work done by the office. Also appreciating your allowing us the opportunity to interact and then to respond to that. Honourable members, this then concludes the discussion on this matter and the business of the day. The House will therefore adjourn until further notice. Thank you. Thank you, AG. I can walk with my phone. I can even take this.